Welcome to the Hypnotic Healers Podcast, your home for insights and insider knowledge about hypnotic change work. With your hosts, control practitioners and hypnotists, Nicole Mazzucato and Anthony Gitch.
Hello, and welcome back to a new season and another episode of Hypnotic Healers. I'm Nicole Mazzucato, and as always, I'm here with my friend and co-host Anthony Gitch, all the way over there. Our usual disclaimer: if you know us, this is usual. If you don't, this is our disclaimer. Neither Anthony nor I are licensed medical professionals, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, or anything of the sort. So please do not make any changes or alterations to any medications or treatments that you're on based on the conversation that you hear here today. Take what you like and leave the rest. And while you're leaving stuff, leave us a love, a like, a heart, a thumbs up, a really positive review, or, whatever. And, you can get in touch, send us a message, send us your feedback. And let's dive right in. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Nicole, and welcome back to another fabulous year doing what it is that we so love to do.
It is. So our previous episode, we were kind of reviewing on the 2 years just gone, because we are celebrating, we've just celebrated our 2-year birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we've done the review, and now we're doing the preview.
Yeah, of what's coming. And, I'm excited about what's coming just because we've both been experiencing a lot of growth lately in different, in our personal and professional lives. And I'm excited about where things are going for me. I'm always excited about where things are going for you and of course, how I can help support that. And it's just been, it's things are starting, the seeds that have been planted have started to actually break the surface. And I'm excited about that, right? Because we've talked about that before, that time, that waiting for that germination to happen. And it seems like people oftentimes, I know those memes that are out there, it keeps me moving forward sometimes. There's just under the dirt, there is the sprout that's getting ready to break through, and the person walks away just before it breaks ground, right? And that stick-to-itness that I am really kind of known for in my family, it pays off sometimes, right? Most of the time. And things are starting to now break through the surface.
Good.
So it's a good feeling, right?
Yeah. And that is the thing when you stick with something and you keep going at it and you keep going at it, even when times are hard and times are tough and things are at their most challenging and at their most trying, at their most testing, and you're just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That's when you keep going. That's when you keep going, and then things start to fall into place, right? Those, like you say, the seeds start to sprout and break through the earth.
The topsoil.
The topsoil.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? Earth? Is it not Earth?
The surface. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good feeling, and it's exciting because this is now, this is one of those things that have just been growing and growing and growing for us, and we have continued to change the way that we do the platform, who we have on the platform, how we run things, how we even converse with each other, right? And I mean, it's all been a natural progression, but it's all been a growth process. And I can't think of anybody who I would rather be doing it with. And I've said that before.
You have.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It has. So I'm looking forward to moving forward. We've definitely got a great guest coming up already. Who we won't break the surprise now, but we do have a guest who's going to be coming up in the next episode. So really excited about that.
And the next episode, I'm looking at Nicole like, oh my God, who did she invite?
Spoiler, we've already recorded the episode.
Okay. Very cool. She's a fantastic guest. Yes, I'm very excited about having, that's going to be great. But I was like, oh my God, who did Nicole invite now? But we
and
do
we have got
other
some other
great guests.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got some other people lined up, and very excited to bring in new people. This is an ever growing industry with people from all sorts of different backgrounds and different walks of life and different paths, and they've come to the world of change work and hypnosis and NLP and whatever modalities they dabble in and they choose to work in, and they choose to kind of take what they like from and leave the rest. It's amazing. There's some amazing people around, and we're really excited to keep bringing them on and sharing their stories.
Yes, there's a gentleman that I am hoping that I'm going to be able to bring on, and he's a nurse. That's what he does full time. For his full time job is nursing at a very well-known, well-established facility here in the Seattle area, and he also at times uses his hypnosis skills with his patients. And I'm going to be excited about trying to talk to him and see if he can't join us on one of these episodes. Obviously, when Nicole and I record, it might make it a bit of a challenge since he's at work, but we'll see what we can work out, because it would be cool. I actually met him because, well, I was a patient. And then the doctor said, "Oh my God, yeah, he practices hypnosis too." And so I was like, that would be somebody interesting to have on the show. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun, Nicole. When Nicole and I talked about, Nicole and I talked about having him on.
We did. Yeah. And I think that would be a really interesting guest to have on. So,
and Claudia Rickard, she's
mm-hmm.
she's going to be on at some point. And I'm excited about that. She is a native UK Londoner, I think. Now lives in the United States. Fantastic woman. Really, I really like her a lot. Met some really fascinating people, really wonderful people at Heartland Hypnosis Conference.
You've been busy going to networking events and conferences and things.
Yeah.
You have been a busy boy.
Yeah, every Sunday now, between now and the end of August, I'm going to be at the West Seattle Farmers Market, in our little pop-up booth there, demonstrating hypnosis, having fun. Had a blast yesterday, met some wonderful people, shared some of the magic of hypnosis and some of the wonderful things it can do with people, and got back from Heartland Hypnosis Conference just last week. And I think that there's a gal brand new in the industry. I'm excited to be finding out more about what she's doing. She's niching immediately right into her company, which is called Lifeline for Moms, and working specifically with moms with children with addictions.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she's like, I don't know if I should niche or not. I'm like, oh my God, that's an amazing niche. I'm like, if you're already working in that field, what an amazing tool to bring already to something you've already established. I'm like, yeah, that's an amazing niche. And so, because there's a lot of teenage addiction and childhood addiction that happens in this country. I'm sure all over the world, but it is, it's prolific here. And so I was like, that would be an amazing niche. So, we'll see how she does, track her progress, right? There's a lot of great people entering this field, and the woman who taught her, I'd love to have her on, Connie Holmes, a really super nice lady. And so, we're going to see what happens here in the next year. We're not going to be too guest heavy because you know how we are about that, but I think it's going to be fun to scatter these about and have a good time and get some other input.
Yeah, and get to know different people that are doing different things, and we've already had people on from all over the world, so it's great to keep connecting with people and creating that kind of worldwide connection and network between different practitioners and therapists, and all doing their wonderful things. So that we have listeners wherever they are, they can tap into people near them, far from them, whoever resonates, the most with them. And that's really what this is about as well, isn't it? It's about when you're choosing to work with somebody, it has to be somebody that you resonate with, right? Somebody that you feel at ease with. You're not going to go and choose to work with somebody that you don't feel at ease with, or that you don't feel there's some sort of rapport there or something like that. Recently, when was it? recently I was talking to somebody, and she was telling me that that was right. Her client had decided to change to work with somebody else, and I was talking about it with the practitioner, and she was saying that she felt that something hadn't clicked. They'd done a few sessions together. Something hadn't clicked, and the rapport just wasn't there. So she was like, "I'm not surprised. It just." When you just feel that something hasn't quite worked out, and that was fine. She was happy to recommend her to move on to work with someone else. And I think it's really valuable. It's really valuable and it's admirable as well. It takes courage to be that vulnerable in a sense and say, actually, I recognize that maybe this hasn't worked out the way that it should, or maybe there's something that didn't click between us. So actually, let's have this conversation and find you somebody that you feel more comfortable working with.
I can generally assess if I'm going to be comfortable working with them by the end of the consultation, right? That's one of the reasons I love our consultations, because I've put myself in that situation before where I felt comfortable, but then when things really kind of began, it was like, well, this is not something that I think is going to work for us, right? And so I'm grateful for that, for what we have now as a consultation, because it gives me more of a footing and a comfort level for those sorts of things, for sure. At least, for me, it does. Yeah, I like that. I like that about our process, or about the process.
It's kind of weird. So it's kind of weird that our year is starting in May, but that's fine. Everybody's year starts at a different point. The financial year in the UK starts in April. The school years, in the sort of Northern Hemisphere, I think, start in September. So we all have different points of year. I don't think that January is necessarily the beginning of the year for most people, right? It's just
the beginning of the calendar year.
Yeah. For me, it was always September because I always worked in education. So September was the beginning of my year. January was just another roll
holiday,
on, right? Yeah, yeah. It was simply a change of number. And ours, in terms of the podcast, then is starting on the 5th of May. Mm-hmm. What have you yourself got coming up? What would you like to see happen over the next 12 months? No kind of commitment or anything, but just right. What are your intentions? I think I'm trying to ask.
My intentions have grown big. What some would say maybe a little bit too big for my britches, but I expect to see myself being in front of a couple hundred people at a time, doing motivational work, interpersonal communication, skill building stuff, workshops, corporate training workshops in skill building and leadership, on that bigger kind of stage. So to speak, where I'm doing more of that corporate work, motivating larger numbers of people in smaller amounts of time.
Cool. Okay, nice. And how do you see that rolling out?
Well, currently, and it's nice that you asked that, right? I mean, because I have to have a roadmap. It's always nice to know the house that I want to get to, but it's a good idea to have an idea of which roads I need to travel, right?
And it's so not my intention to put you on the spot here.
No, but this is good for me because these are the sorts of things that help to focus what it is that I'm doing, and it's nice because I can answer that and say that, clearly is what's happening now with all of the public speaking that I'm doing. It's already rolling towards that direction. Now, with some of the new connections that I have made, because I have been willing to make myself vulnerable and ask for the business and ask for that sort of stuff, where before I've been afraid to do that, it is opening up more doors in those areas because of their connections, right? Being able to go to those people that sometimes you hold in high regard because of where you see them at in their profession. It's sometimes hard to ask those people, right? Because you're like, well, who the hell am I? Are they going to, but when you do it, right? I mean, it's always like I say, the worst thing they can say is no. And this person didn't say no, and they're opening up some doors for me, right? And I think it's that willingness to put yourself out there. That's what's paving my way. I'm going to keep being willing to put myself out there and sometimes get the hard no. Right? And I'm going to be bouncy.
Be bouncy. Yeah.
I'm going to be bouncy.
Yeah. I don't stop using that term since we were talking about it in an episode.
I love it. I love it. People are like, how do you do that? I'm like, I'm just bouncy.
Yeah. I'm like a rubber ball.
And, sometimes they think bouncy is one of those kind of bimbo-y kind of blonde sort of ideas. I'm like, no, that's not the kind of bouncy I'm talking about.
Yeah. I just think either you're an egg that drops and splats, or you're a rubber ball that just keeps on bouncing.
And I prefer to be bouncy.
Yeah. Look, sometimes we splat. That's fine too.
Yep. I think.
I've sent you, it's Lenny. I think that's what it's called on Instagram, the little blob. There's this beautiful little Instagram account where it's an animation. They're short animations of a little blob, got the cutest little voice ever. And it's all kind of like, kind of uplifting, but it's so cute. I'm sure I've sent you something. Anyway, I would definitely recommend
volume
you guys.
on it. I never have the volume on.
Oh, but you have to watch these. They're so cute. There's one on my stories at the moment.
All right.
And it's like, hi, this is Lenny. And then there's like a little story. When sometimes you're having a hard day and it feels like you've just splat on the ground and things like that. It's really, really cute. Really cute. And I really recommend it because it just warms your heart.
Did you ever see The Angry Orange?
No.
Okay, it's a YouTube thing from years and years and years ago, and I still think it's flipping hilarious when I need to crack up. It's called The Annoying Orange, I think, and yeah, I freaking love it. It's just a talking orange who's annoying as hell. You'll have to check it out one of these times. It will make you laugh, which isn't intended to do. I mean, it's just, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm going to have to actually send it to you.
Right.
Because you know me and procrastination. And by the way, I have watched that YouTube video now like 20 times while I'm procrastinating. Yeah, while I'm procrastinating.
Yeah, while I'm procrastinating, I've got a master procrastinator doing TED Talk in the background.
And I have sent it to multiple people. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Watch it with me.
Yes. It is brilliant. I used to use it a lot with my students, a lot.
I really enjoy it a lot, but yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a good year. And how about you? Where do you see yourself a year from now? How do you see things unrolling and playing out for you? Where will you be living? In what country might you be, Nicole?
Well, now that is a lot less predictable. Yeah. No, let's leave that question alone because I can't really answer that one. But no, a year from now, I will definitely be doing a lot more work in schools and working with teenagers. That's where my passion, that is my passion project, and I love working with that age group, as I've talked about many, many, many times. And I've been putting some stuff together. I've been putting some workshops together and reaching out to contacts and things. So yeah, that's where I'm putting my efforts at the moment, and also supporting teachers and staff, school staff. It's just they are under a lot of stress, and schools some schools invest in well-being for students, and then they just have like an employee assistance program just stuck on the wall. Like if you're struggling as a staff member, just phone them and you might get to chat to someone, which I just don't think is good enough. It's far too it's far too passive rather than actively looking out for your staff well-being. And at the end of the day, teachers and school staff are looking after children, educating children day in, day out. It's a stressful job. If you've got 30 odd students in a class, 30 odd teenagers in a class, that's a stressful job, you know?
Yeah.
And teachers get a lot of, maybe since the pandemic, people have really realized that they need to value the work that teachers do when parents were locked up at home with their kids for however long and started going nuts.
When parents had to be parents? Oh my God. Oh my God. You mean I have to raise Johnny? That thing which came forth from my loin is my responsibility.
So I know it's, you know, teachers don't get they don't get looked after enough. They don't get looked after enough. And I know in your country, for example, teachers are literally going to work, putting their lives on the line, which is just insane. I mean, it really is insane that's the work of a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, they're being trained to carry firearms. They're being trained how to, I mean, and then still being paid poverty level wages.
Exactly.
Right.
And it blows my mind how, you know, I don't know about in the States, but it blows my mind how teachers, firefighters, nurses, police, you know, officers, how these people are all paid like really shitty wages.
Nurses here are paid well.
Not
nursing
in the UK.
Nursing is a great profession in this country. Yeah,
no, not in the UK.
It's a good profession, well paid.
Yeah. No,
we
it's
have
not
unions.
in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have unions in the UK as well, but still, you know, the amount of hours they work, the work that they're doing, the love and care that they pour into. I don't think anybody gets into any of those professions because they want to be an arsehole. Everybody starts off in those professions, so being a civil servant, if that's what you want to, call it. Everybody, I think most people start off with the best intentions, that really they want to be of service and they want to be helping people and giving back to the community in some way, whether that's how they think about it or not. Nobody gets into it to be rich, because it's just not the kind of professions. They're not the kind of professions you get into to be rich. Right. And, these are all people that are vocational. And they're willing to put so much of themselves on the line in service of other people. And and we just don't, as a society, they're just not respected, remunerated.
Well, I think that more than a societal issue, it's an issue from corporations, because corporations don't value the people that make their organizations profitable to begin with, right? And if you're, that society can't control what nurses and teachers are being paid. That's school district, that's governments, unfortunately, so I think that as a whole, or at least in this country, from what I see and what you see with protests and all that stuff, society's pissed off about it. They're angry about it. All government wants to do, though, is just tax them more to pay for something that already isn't working, right? Because isn't it nicer to have a principal who's paid, $800,000 a year to run the school, and the teacher makes $32,000 a year to actually manage 30 small little people every hour for 7 hours a day? Without any support.
What principal do you know that earn $800,000 a year?
These administrators, these people, they make a lot of money because they've got the degrees, right? And the degree is what makes a person in a lot of these industries, not the relevant ability to do the work, right? I mean, they've got 22 people to manage one person, and then they wonder where all the fucking money is. Right. They don't have money for these school programs and all that kind of stuff, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. So, because it's the same everywhere. I think it's a challenge, and I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, stop having children. Yeah. How about that? There's an answer.
Well, there you go.
That would solve the problem.
It would, wouldn't it?
create a whole nother one, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like taking medication. You got to choose one or the other.
No, but the point is, we do need to pay more care and attention to these people, to everyone. But obviously, I have a special affinity with people that work in education because that's just my background and where I come from.
Yep. I have a lot of family that works in education. My great grandmother was an educator. On my dad's side, she was a teacher in a one-room school in
oh, wow.
on the Oregon Trail.
Wow.
So it's we've got my niece is a teacher. My sister, my sister is a school administrator. Was a teacher. I've got lots of family.
And look, all of these skills and learnings that we take from hypnosis, all of the different, kind of change work modalities, there's so much that can benefit educators and even anyone working with other humans, right? There's so much that could benefit them. I mean, you were talking about a nurse that you met recently who uses hypnosis with patients. Wouldn't it be amazing if hypnosis was an integrated, obligatory part of training in medical school for nurses and doctors alike? I mean, okay, it wouldn't be that beneficial to big pharma companies, but
right.
But we won't go down that route.
Therein lies the rub, right? I
mean, we had Dr. John Edgett on here.
If it's cost effective, then it's not effective. Because that doesn't produce money, and we want money.
But we had Dr. John Edgett on here, didn't we? I can't remember if that was the first. I think that was the first season. Who got into hypnosis while he was at graduate school, and then really incorporated that into his work as a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist. I can't remember if he's a psychotherapist or psychiatrist. Clinical psychologist, maybe?
I think so. Yeah. I think a clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Good guy either way.
Dan, do you remember Dan McKenna, who is a dentist who uses...
Yes, I keep in touch with Dan often.
Yeah, Dan. Shout out to Dan, who lives in Ireland, and he's a dentist, and he's been using hypnosis for many years with his patients. He's
a good guy. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, we should get Dan on the show.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Yeah, Dan's a good guy.
Yeah,
I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if social workers and teachers and why are we not giving back to firefighters more and helping them overcome the things that they have to deal with? Policemen have to go through all sorts of shit and traumas and whatnot. And they also need to, be helped and supported through all the stuff that they go through. Maybe I know the view of police in your neck of the woods is not as favorable.
No, I don't. I think that there's a lot of media hype around that. I know all the people I know. We are all 100% behind the police, right? I mean, there are bad apples in everything that you do, right? In every basket, there's a bad apple, and then that's just the nature of the game. But no, I law enforcement is starting to get better treatment, the treatment they deserve. Law enforcement has never been treated really, really well in this country, though. You're right.
Yeah. And the same thing with military, right? We're talking about the same sorts of things.
Yeah.
For so long, veterans and veterans were just kind of shoved to a side when their service was over for whatever reason, whether they'd been injured or whatnot, and not offered any kind of help or support to reintegrate to society. And when you come back from any kind of battle or
combat is I mean,
it's incredibly damaging, and there needs to be support for people.
Yes.
Well, I think that kind of wraps up for the first session of this new season. I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Me too.
Yeah. Lots to come, and we're really excited about it. So as always, if you're new, welcome. If you are not so new to us, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. And we look forward to continuing the journey with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole, for today.
Cool. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Hypnotic Healers Podcast. Don't forget to leave us a review and follow us on Facebook. You can also join our mailing list at hypnothealers.com.